said. All right. This is Jackie with In the Key of Change, and I'm here with Dan from 4 Years Strong. We are here in Baltimore.
We are.
You are in the middle of this tour with Bayside, but you guys have been a band for 13 years.
Yep, we have.
What are some secrets to your longevity?
I don't know. I mean, it helps that we all get along really well. We're all kind of, we have the same thought process about things. We all like a lot of the same things, so we don't have a lot of creative differences, really, as far as the band goes. But I mean, there's ups and downs in every relationship, you know what I mean? And I think the secret to us being able to keep doing this is that we know when to work and when to play, and also when to take some time off, I think that's really important, to try to get a balance, because we're all very family, home-oriented as well, so I think that's where, we have to be smart about how we do things, because if people are away from home for too long, that's when we start getting, catty at each other.
How has the scene changed over the 13 years?
It's changed a lot. I mean, even when we first started, just the idea of how much the internet had to do with things. I mean, obviously the internet existed when our band started, but just the idea of how much it would matter. I remember when our band first started, we got a mp3.com page, and we were like, put a song on that. I don't know if it's going to do anything, but sure. And then the main thing that we did was we handed out demos at shows, and which a lot of kids still do, but I mean, it's definitely not the main avenue of how to get your band heard anymore. And flyering shows is very rare as well, like going to a show and like handing out flyers to a show, and even discovering new music. I remember I was having this conversation the other day with somebody, and like the way that I would find new bands to listen to is I would, go buy the CD of a band that I liked, and then I would look through the thank yous and like look through like all the bands that they thanked, like that they toured with, and I'm like, oh, I've never heard of this band. I'm gonna go and buy that CD and try that out, and that's how I found like tons of bands, and now it's just so easy because you have things like, like Pandora, where you can just type in a band name and it'll play a bunch of bands that sound like that. You can find new bands that way, or just cruising around the internet or on message boards.
Talking to strangers on the internet. I mean,
yeah, you can find it's crazy, and I think that's also kind of been in like not an issue, but something that our band has always struggled to try to keep up with, because it's not how our brains naturally think. You know what I mean? About like how to get like the word about our band out. When we have conversations with managers, they're like, so how are we going to get more people to know your band? And we're like, well, we tour. We tour and we play for more people. And they're like, oh, but we can, get it out to millions of people just by putting it on this website. And you're like, oh, okay. That's why they pay them the big bucks, I guess. So, yeah.
What lessons have you learned over these years that you might tell your former self?
Lessons that I've learned. One lesson that I'm glad that I learned early on, as far as being in a band, is to save every penny that you get, because you don't get paid a lot in bands. Everybody knows that, especially nowadays. But it's just, things just add up and all this crazy stuff, and it's good to, just make sure that you're saving your money when you're out on tour and not, blowing it on like a million guitars or like all these designer clothes, because I see some bands I go on tour with and like they're just always buying new stuff, and I'm like, dude, don't buy all that stuff, you're gonna want the money later. But other lessons I think I've learned would be just not to take everything so seriously, because at the end of the day it's just being in a band with your friends and playing music, and that's all that really matters. So if you spend like most of your, I guess, career worrying about, what your album artwork's going to be, or, oh, we all have to wear black on stage, or just something like that. Like if you do, that's totally cool. I'm not passing judgment. I'm just saying that, I guess just not sweating the small stuff is something that I picked up on long ago, just because it goes really fast. Like you said, we've been a band for 13 years, and it doesn't feel like we've been a band for that long. So just like, enjoying what we're doing, because we know that I'm not going to be able to be a 45-year-old guy in a pop punk band, touring, so it's cool to be able to enjoy it while I can.
could be really interesting.
Yeah, just a bunch of bald fat guys, which isn't much different than what we are now.
Super group, come
But,
on,
yeah.
you know, the best of the best, get everybody together.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, your fake teeth, not that anyone would have fake teeth at 45, but
We
I'm
have
just
pretty
saying.
good dental hygiene, but
Well, your last album, in some way, shape, or form, came out way back in 2011.
yep.
What has changed for you guys as a band since then?
We took a pretty good chunk of time off after Warped Tour 2012, just because after we put out that record, we fulfilled our contract with our label, so we were free agents, I guess is the phrase. But so we didn't owe anybody anything, and we've been touring like crazy for 7 years straight, basically, and we just kind of wanted to take not really like a hiatus or a break or break up or anything. We just didn't want to tour for a little while. And, you know, we all were really dead set on getting dogs, because we haven't been able to get dogs because we've been touring. So we all went home, we all got dogs, and, you know, we just kind of got to enjoy the fruits of our labor a little bit. Got to, you know, hang out at home and, you know, just be with my wife, who I got married to like 3 years ago, and it was nice to actually be able to spend the last year and a half with her, because I've been with her since we were in high school, so basically from when I got out of high school we started touring for like 7 years straight, so it was good to actually be able to spend some time with her. And, you know, and just see our families and catch up and just kind of, you know, do normal mundane things that we all missed, you know?
That crazy grown-up shit.
I know. I got to mow my lawn for a whole summer. It was the fucking coolest thing.
In your glory.
Oh, I loved it.
All your neighbors are like, what's this dude doing?
I
Why
loved
is he
it.
smiling?
Just on my little ride-on lawnmower, just puttering around.
That sounds like fun.
It was the best. A little lemonade, my iPod in.
There you go.
It's great. It's great.
That's how the rock stars do it. Come on.
The smart ones.
There you go, exactly. You guys are in the process of working on new music right now, correct? Yeah. And your sound has sort of jumped genres before.
Yeah.
What can give us some insight of what the new sound sounds like?
I don't know. I mean, we're still working on it. We're still writing, and we're still working on some new things. And I think kids are really gonna like it. I mean, there's definitely some. We definitely, you know, have some stuff that goes back a little bit. We have some stuff that goes forward a little bit. It's a pretty good mix, I would say, of 4 Years Strong. Like, if you go to see 4 Years Strong right now, the way the set is, with Rise or Die, Enemy of the World, and In Some Way, Shape, or Form songs, I think these songs will fit very well in there, and we're not gonna have to like make like little boxes of old songs and new songs. Like, these songs will definitely fit in the mix. Like, some of these songs could have been on In Some Way, Shape, or Form. Some of these songs could have been on Enemy of the World. But we're also, you know, one thing with our band is the music is the most important part to us. Like, writing music is our most favorite thing to do. I mean, we love playing live and recording and everything, but just writing is, you know, the best. And, you know, we never like to try to, you know, before we start writing a song, be like, all right, let's write a song like this, or let's write a song like that. We just kind of sit and just try to organically just jam out on stuff and see where it goes. And, you know, once we have a good idea of where it's going, then we could be like, okay, well, this sounds like we're going more this route. Let's kind of keep doing that and everything. But, so now that we started doing that again, it was a little weird, because we hadn't written music for almost 3 years, because the last time we wrote music was for In Some Way, Shape, or Form. So we had to brush the cobwebs off a little bit. But I think kids are really going to like the stuff that we're coming up with. We haven't got to finish recording it yet, but because we had a couple setbacks before this tour, and then we had to leave. But right when we get home, we're going to go back in, record the rest of it, and then a few more songs and stuff, and try to get it out.
What is that writing process like now?
It's actually pretty much the same as it was forever ago. I mean, myself and Alan kind of get together. We write some riffs. We kind of come up with, you know, the main structure guitar-wise for a song and melodically, and then we just get together with Joe and Jake, and everybody just writes their parts, and, you know, we go through it and fine-tune the song, and that's kind of the way it's always been. Even with Rise or Die Trying, I mean, it was just me and Alan in my parents' basement. We'd write a riff, and then we'd be like, hey, Joe, Jake, come over. And we'd write the song. That's the way it always was.
How do you guys get ready for Warped? You're on Warped this year.
I don't know. It's going to be crazy. Especially this year, because I'm actually having my first kid after this tour. So it's going to be interesting because the due date is right in between this tour and Warped Tour. Right smack in the middle.
Boy or girl?
Girl. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I'm really excited about it. And but this year, to get ready, I'm going to hydrate forever. Just drink as much water as I can get my hands on, kind of like a little chipmunk before winter. But we're just going to really try to come up with a good power set, finish up the music, try to get that out, and I don't know, look for some good tank tops, I guess. It gets hot. Got to stock up on sunscreen.
There you go.
Yeah. I never tanned before I went on Warped Tour. I was always the kind of guy that just burnt. And then once I started going on Warped Tour and I was out in the sun for the whole summer, I became this like Cuban brown.
Oh, God.
It was great.
Well, one question I didn't plan on asking. Famous people are known for naming their children weird things.
Not me.
You've got some good normal names.
Yep,
in
just a normal name. I'm really into like turn of the century like pilgrimy names. I like very like, you know, like old like Americana style names and stuff like that.
As someone who teaches them.
Yeah.
And I mean, people
I
start
know.
naming their
Oh, I
children
know.
some weird shit.
I don't want to say anything because I don't want anybody to be offended, but I've seen some awful names. There's really bad names out there.
Well, transitioning from names, what is your reaction to a fan who comes up to you and shows you a 4-year-strong tattoo?
It's every time it's crazy to me. I mean, just the fact that, you know, just some thought that comes out of my head that I write on a piece of paper and sing into a song, and somebody's like, oh, man, that means so much to me that I'm going to get it tattooed on my body. It's just crazy. Because I have lyrics tattooed on me from other bands and stuff like that too, and I know how much they mean to me, and it's just crazy how, you know, somebody could, you know, take something that we created and latch onto it so tightly. I think it's so cool. I think that's the thing that, you know, keeps me wanting to write music and wanting to play, especially in this band, because this band definitely has had some great, like, has really great fans, and that's the coolest part. That was the thing I think that I missed the most after taking like a 1.5 years off, was just going out and just seeing how cool kids were and how much they liked the songs, and, you know, were willing to jump off something. I love it. Yeah.
You did mention you've got a little bit of ink. I see your
Yes.
tattoos.
Yep.
Who's your artist?
Or
Or are you a collector?
I'm a collector.
Connoisseur.
Yeah, I like, the cool thing about my tattoos is I like to look around because they're all from different parts of the world most of the time. Like, oh, I got this one in the UK, and I got this one in Kansas City, and, you know, and every time I got a tattoo, I know exactly where I was, what was going on, what tour I was on. It's like, every time you get tattooed on tour, it kind of just like takes that moment and just freezes it in your brain. You always remember what's going on, so it's cool. Because it hurts so
I was going to say,
much.
I'm sure the pain is involved.
It hurts so much. When you get older, tattoos hurt so much more. I can't stress this enough to the kids out there who are getting tattooed. If you're going to do it early. But don't do dumb stuff either.
I was going to say, but you got to think about it. So it's got to be like...
Yeah. Don't just
there's a
rush
window.
out and get full sleeves and some neck tattoos. Just know that it hurts more when you get older. Especially in the legs. Very bad.
Thank you for that tip.
Yeah, that's another thing I've
good
learned.
To know.
Yeah.
That's good to know. So you've got more writing to do.
Yep.
Finishing the album.
Yep.
Finishing recording and writing the album.
Yep.
Then you're going to gear up for Warped Tour.
Mm-hmm.
And then what's next? What would do you have fall or winter plans yet?
We have some ideas.
Okay.
We're tossing around some things. Possible another tour in the fall. We really want to get out and do some headlining shows because we haven't done that in a while. But, you know, we gotta make the schedule work, and we're still playing around with dates and stuff like that. So there's some stuff in the mix, and for in the new year as well. So hopefully trying to get to the UK and do some European stuff overseas. So, yeah.
Well, stay tuned for more from 4 Years Strong. This is Jackie. Thanks to Heart and One Industries and In the Key of Change.